Welcome to Hardly, where books turn into 3 stories, refreshing your knowledge in minutes. Today, we listen to the book Learned Excellence, Mental Disciplines for Leading and Winning from the World's Top Performers, in which we probe into how mastering mental disciplines can transform ordinary individuals into world-class performers, and the crucial role of mental toughness, resilience, and mindset in achieving excellence across diverse fields. Eric Potterat, PhD, is a clinical and performance psychologist and a leading expert in individual and organizational performance optimization. Alan Eagle is an author and executive communications consultant, helping leaders and companies shape and tell their stories. Don't go away. Hardly, the editor, will be right back with the story. Today, we dive into 3 compelling stories, illustrating how mastering mental disciplines transforms individuals into world-class performers. Each story reflects a unique journey of mental resilience, toughness, and a mindset of excellence. The first story takes us into the world of high-stakes sports. Picture this. A Navy SEAL named John is on a mission, not in a battlefield, but on a different kind of front line, training with a professional baseball team. John has been invited by the team's coach to share his insights on mental toughness and resilience, qualities he embodies every day. As he stands before the players, John begins recounting his days as a SEAL, describing how every mission demanded not just physical strength, but also a mental fortitude that could withstand any adversity. John shares a moment from his SEAL training, a time when he was pushed to the brink. During an exercise designed to simulate capture by enemy forces, John was blindfolded, deprived of sleep, and placed in a confined space for hours. He recalls, "I could feel my mind slipping, my body screaming for rest. But I knew that breaking was not an option. I had to reach deep within myself to find a reason to keep going, to endure the pain and the fear." He tells the players how this experience taught him that the mind is the greatest weapon of all, a lesson he carried with him into every mission thereafter. The players listen, captivated, as John explains how this same mental discipline can be applied to their sport. Just like in a combat scenario, a game can turn in an instant. Mental resilience can mean the difference between victory and defeat. He points out that the best athletes are not just those with physical prowess, but those who have trained their minds to remain calm under pressure, to focus amidst chaos, and to never give up, no matter the odds. This was a turning point for many of the players. They realized that to be the best, they needed to train not just their bodies, but also their minds. As John finishes his story, the scene shifts from the world of sports to the world of extreme adventure. Here, we meet Anna, an accomplished mountain climber who has scaled some of the highest peaks in the world. Anna's story is one of relentless pursuit, driven by an unyielding mindset of excellence. She recalls her ascent of Mount Everest, a climb that tested every ounce of her physical and mental endurance. As she tells it, the climb was grueling. She had prepared for years, both physically and mentally, for this moment. But nothing could have truly prepared her for the reality of the thin air, the bone-chilling cold, and the constant threat of avalanches. Halfway up the mountain, she faced a critical moment. A blizzard had hit, and she was forced to decide whether to push forward or turn back. Many climbers had already abandoned the ascent, but Anna knew this was a test of her mental strength. She remembered a lesson from her mentor. Your body can withstand much more than your mind believes it can. It's all about pushing past that mental barrier. Anna decided to continue. She shut out the fear and focused on her breathing, taking one step at a time, each one a small victory against the mountain. She visualized herself at the summit, feeling the icy wind on her face, and used this mental image to drive her forward. Finally, after hours of painstaking effort, she reached the top. The view was breathtaking, but what she remembered most was the feeling of triumph over her own mind. This experience taught her that the mind is not just a part of the journey, it is the journey. Her ability to master her mental state had not only helped her reach the summit, but it also transformed her into a stronger, more resilient person. Leaving Anna's story, we move into a different arena, one that might seem far removed from mountains and battlefields, yet requires no less mental toughness. This is the story of Rachel, a CEO of a tech startup. Rachel's company was on the verge of launching a groundbreaking product, one that could revolutionize the industry. However, just weeks before the launch, disaster struck. A key component of the technology failed during testing. Investors were nervous, employees were losing faith, and the clock was ticking. Rachel knew that this was a make-or-break moment for her company. She could feel the pressure mounting, the weight of expectations bearing down on her. But instead of succumbing to panic, she drew on the mental discipline she had cultivated over years of leading her company through ups and downs. She took a step back and centered herself, just as she had learned to do in mindfulness training. She reminded herself of her core values, her mission, and the reasons why she had started the company in the first place. With a clear mind, she was able to think strategically. She assembled her team, laid out the problem, and together, they brainstormed a solution. Through her calm leadership and mental resilience, Rachel not only navigated the crisis, but also strengthened the resolve of her entire team. When the product finally launched, it was a huge success, setting a new standard in the industry. Rachel's story shows that mental toughness is not just for athletes or adventurers. It is a critical skill for leaders in every field. It is about maintaining focus, staying true to your mission, and believing in your ability to overcome any obstacle. These stories, though set in different worlds, share a common thread: the power of the mind. Each individual faced a unique challenge, but it was their mental discipline, their ability to stay focused and resilient, that set them apart. John, Anna, and Rachel show us that whether you are on a battlefield, a mountain, or in a boardroom, the principles of mental toughness apply. It is this mastery of the mind that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary performers. As the editor of Hardly, by learning these mental disciplines, we can prepare ourselves not just to face future challenges, but to embrace them as opportunities for growth and transformation. To wrap up, let's revisit the critical point. Mastering mental disciplines is key to transforming ordinary individuals into world-class performers. Each story we've shared, John's experience with the baseball team, Anna's climb up Mount Everest, and Rachel's leadership in the tech startup, illustrates this truth. Now, let's let's consider another powerful example from the book. Picture a surgeon, Dr. Samuel, performing a high-risk operation. In the operating room, everyone relies on him. The patient's vitals are unstable, and the team is tense. Samuel, however, is calm. He has trained his mind to focus intensely under pressure, using a technique called box breathing to maintain his composure. As the minutes tick by, he visualizes each step of the procedure, blocking out any distractions. The surgery is a success, and his team marvels at his poise. Later, Samuel reflects that the secret to his calm demeanor is not just his surgical skill, but his disciplined mental training. This ability to maintain mental clarity under stress is what distinguishes him in his field. Each of these stories, in their own unique ways, underscores the power of mental toughness and resilience. They remind us that the journey to excellence is not just about physical or technical prowess, but about mastering the mind. As the editor of Hardly, learning these mental disciplines allows us to approach every challenge with confidence, ultimately enabling us to transform not just our careers, but our entire lives.